Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, the baddest fashion girly on the block. So in today's video, we're gonna be telling a story. It's story time. Story time, guys. So get ready with me while I tell you the most scariest and the most weirdest and traumatizing story of my life. Okay, so now let's get into it. Okay. If you're new here, thank you for joining the family. If you've been here, thank you for all the support. Please like, share, and subscribe. I came to South Africa when I was 3. I lived there till I was like 11, 10, in grade 5, and my mom passed away. So, because of the situation, the financial situation, I had to move back to Zim. And I started living with my dad whilst I was in Zim. Yeah, for grade 6 and 7, and I started learning there. I finished the rest of my primary there. And guys, I experienced a lot of bullying when I was in high school because I was that kid, man. They just grew up in South Africa. She doesn't know how to speak Shona properly. So I got bullied a lot back in school. But fortunately, I caught up to the curriculum and I actually did well in my final grade 7 exams. I did quite well and I got 8 units. That's like good results in Zim. I got 8 units. So what they do is in Zim practically is that you look for a high school with your results. If you did good, you can get into a nice school. So I've always wanted to go to the school called Marlborough. So I went to that school and then I got accepted and then everything was good. Mind you, this is term 1 in form 1. And I was happy, everything was fine. My dad was proud of me. And the thing that happened is that I've always wanted to like go to a boarding school, and that school was a boarding school. It had like options. You could be a boarder or a day student. Due to financial issues, I couldn't be a boarder, so I ended up just being a day student. This is where the problem happened. This is where it all started. The first day I went with my dad, he accompanied me to school because it was my first day and I was not that kid who used to go to town and go places. So I really didn't know. I didn't know my way around. And mind you, this is like my first day at school, and this school was quite far from where we used to live. We used to live in Marimba, and that means I had to take a taxi to town, a taxi and another taxi to school to Marlborough, where I used to learn. So this is what happened. My dad took me there. The first day we took taxis because that's what I was going to be using eventually. So he wanted to show me my way around. And then he showed me da 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 da. And then he asked me like, "Are you good? Did you like see the roads and stuff like that?" And then I was like, "Yes, I saw. I think like I'll be okay the second day alone." And then it's the second day now. I'm going to school. I'm so excited. Oh, I'm a big girl. I'm now traveling alone. I'm so happy. And then what happened is that I took a taxi to town very nicely. I got to town. I was excited. I looked for another taxi. This taxi was supposed to drop me. The second taxi, when it drops you, there's a road. There's the straight road, and then that's just my school. I look at my school, and then I just go there because I don't know my way around this place. I only know that I have to be dropped at this road, and then I have to go straight to school because that's what I saw yesterday when my dad took me there. And then this guy leaves me at the wrong place. Like he just says, "Everybody get out." I think it was, I don't know what happened really, but that guy was really rude. Hey, and then I'm like, "Sir, please, like, could you show me the way to go to my school because I've never like went to school. This is my first day at school and I'm afraid I'll be lost. So if you don't mind, at least just direct me or just show me." And then he was like, "Your school is very close from here. Just ask anyone, like even the vendors that sell ice cream and stuff like that. They'll direct you. It's very close. Don't worry." And then I was like, "Ah, no problem." As you said, I literally saw a vendor who was selling ice cream with this other guy. And then I asked him, "Hey, could you please like show me which road to use to get to my school?" And then he was like, "Okay, no problem. Just keep going straight. Don't turn, don't do it." Mind you, this is a highway. Just keep going straight that road. And then as you go straight, you'll see there's a road that you'll just turn left and your school is there. Then I was like, "Okay, thank you." And then guys, school started at 8. And I think at this time it was now to 9. And then I kept walking. I walked. I didn't see anything. I couldn't find any school. I didn't see anything. And I started getting worried because like it's late, and in Zim, if you're late for school, you get punished, eh? So I was like, "Ish, what am I gonna do? I'm late for school." And I keep walking. I actually don't even know where I'm going. I was so worried. And then I kept walking straight. I walked straight like that guy said. And then I saw there was no school. And I think I had walked for about 30 minutes. And as they said, school was very close. So now I got worried. Why do I keep walking and I don't see any sign of my school? And mind you, this is a highway. I have no phone. I have nothing, no form of communication. And the worst part is that I had enough money for 2 taxis to school and 2 taxis back home. no extra money, no anything. So you can just imagine how worried I was, because I was like, okay, what do I do now? I'm actually stuck at a place that I don't know. I'm unfamiliar with this place. So what do I do? I was just standing on the road now because I didn't want to keep walking, and I saw no sign of my school. So I was afraid that if I kept walking, I might have ended up somewhere far, and ish, that would have been a bad look for me. I was just standing at a road, and there was this woman getting water. In those days, it was water was really hectic in Zim, hey. So she was just standing there getting water with her kids. She looked like a friendly woman. Everything was fine. And then she was like, "Oh, hey, what are you doing there? Why are you standing there? Why are you not in school? You know, parents being concerned." And then I trusted her. This is a woman, guys. She has kids. Please don't come for me. She's a woman. She has kids. I was like, okay, this looks a bit safe. I trusted her. I crossed the road. I went to her, and then I explained to her my situation. And I even asked her, "Do you know where my school is? Is it close from here? Is it a walking distance? Please, if you do know, could you please at least just direct me so that I can go to school? If you do not know, could you please direct me to the nearest place I can get taxis to go to town so I can go back home?" And then she was like, "Oh, my darling, you're so lost. It's so far here, and you won't get cars to go to town." Mind you, I could have went back where that guy dropped me. I know a lot of you are gonna say, "Why didn't you just go back to where that guy dropped you?" That guy dropped me at a place where you don't get taxis. Like, he just dropped me. It's a highway, guys. There are no taxis at a highway. It was not like a bus stop, like, okay, you can get taxis here. It was not like that. So I was so worried. And that woman was like, "Oh dear, you're so lost. I have to go drop my kids at home, but I'm gonna go to town later. If you feel comfortable with it, we can go together. And then when I wanna go to town later, I'll go drop you to town and you can go home. Or I will go drop you home if I'm late doing whatever I wanna do." And then I was like, okay, at this point I just trusted this woman because I felt like I had no way out. I had no phone, I had nothing. And I knew my dad's number in my head. This is where you can tell that when we kids we don't really think. This woman was like, I asked, "Okay, it's fine. If you have a phone, could I please call my dad?" And she was like, "I don't have my phone with me. It's at home." And I actually believed it. Maybe it was at home. I don't know, hey, but I feel like she was lying to me. And then I went in her car, and then we went to her house. And this is where I got really scared. During the whole ride, we were talking about children's safety and all those stuff, and how it's important for my parents to make sure that I'm at school. It was wrong of them to just let me come to school alone on my second day. Da, 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 da. You know, men, people just lecturing and stuff like that. I was like, okay. She seemed so nice, so safe. Like, I thought like everything is fine. Everything was okay till we reached her house. Guys, that's where I got the shock of my life. When we reached her house, that's when I got the shock of my life. Because tell me why I'm walking in this house. It's too clean. I don't know if that's a statement or that's crazy to say, but that house was too clean. It was clean. It had white walls, white tiles. It was it was clean in an unfriendly way. I don't know if it's making sense, but it had mirrors everywhere and it had portraits of mermaids and stuff like that. But it was a big house. It was a big house, and mind you, till this whole process and stuff, I think now it was around 11, 12 when we got to her house. This woman was kind. She was still talking to me in a nice way. Everything is okay. And then we got to her house, and then she was like, "I'm gonna go take a quick shower. If you need anything, my maid will assist you." And then I just sat in those huge dining chairs, like dining chairs, yes, where they eat. And then she offered me something to eat. The maid was like, "Should I give you bread or something?" I was like, "No, I'm glad I made that decision." I was like, "No, I'm fine. I'll eat when I'm home. The only thing that I want now is to be home. I'm so worried," and stuff like that. And then she was like, "Okay." And then I waited for that lady to finish taking a shower. And then when she was done taking a shower now, this is when she came out and she was like, "Oh, I still need to cook for my kids before we go." In my head, I'm like, okay, I thought we were just gonna come here, you're gonna take a shower, and then you're gonna go to town and go drop me home. And then now the story has changed. She has to cook for her children. Guys, this is the person who's helping me. I'm clueless. I have nothing. So I literally have to stay tuned and like and just go with the flow because like I had no choice. I had no option to like be like, "Hey, BCA," and stuff like that. So I literally had to cooperate with her. As I mentioned, I'm sitting like in the dining room where the dining chairs are, where they eat. So I'm literally very close to the kitchen. So as she was cooking, she started conversating with me. She started talking to me and asking me very weird questions. Now, this is where I got suspicious because I was a kid, I didn't know much, but I had a little knowledge of these things. Hey, she started asking me questions like, do you know the marine spirits, like the mermaid stuff? Then I was like, no, I don't really like mermaids and stuff like that. And then she was like, do you know the godmothers, the mothers of the sea? Then I was like, no, I don't know any mothers of, like, why? I don't know any mothers of the sea or anything weird as such. And then she started showing me pictures of mermaids. Mind you, these are not the mermaids we used to, those cute, beautiful mermaids. These are scary mermaids with pipes and weird stuff around their necks. So I got scared because in Zim, we hear a lot of stories of the kid has been joined in Satanism. She was sacrificed. They used her for da 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 da. So at this point, you can imagine I'm worried because why is the stranger asking me about mermaids? When did the conversation switch from you taking me home to you asking me about mermaids? I don't believe you know mermaids. Where did that come from? So you can just imagine how I'm feeling at this point. And then I literally started asking her, are you, as soon as you're done cooking, are we going to leave? Because now I was being a little like I was insisting. I kept saying, leave, leave. So I'm sure I'm ready to leave. I wanted to go now. But she was like, you're so pretty. You're so dark skinned. Hey, this skin color of yours is really rare, and you're so pretty and dark skinned. Do you know that you can get anything you want because of your beauty? You can get money, you can get sweet food. I was a kid, so that's the things they'll probably tell you. You can get money, you can get food, you can build your parents a house and stuff like that. And then I was also curious being a kid, and I literally asked her, how is that possible? How can I do all those things? And that's when she started talking about her marine stuff. And then she was like, if you go under the sea and you see the sisters of the sea and stuff like that, those things can happen for you. I was like, what? I don't know how to swim because in my mind, it's not clocking to me that, okay, this is really weird and this is so serious right now. What's going on? And then she was like, and then I was like, I can't swim. And then she was like, doesn't matter. You don't have to swim to do that because you go there. As soon as you go there, you won't even remember anything. They'll just take you there. At this point, I'm worried. This woman keeps saying such stuff. And then at that point, I stopped asking questions. I was just quiet, waiting for her to take me home because I was creeped out already. I didn't want to keep asking about whatever she was talking about. And guys, we got there, like I mentioned, around 12, and now it was 2. She kept cooking and she delayed me so much. And then when she was done cooking, and then she was chilling, and I was literally sitting there. She offered me food about 3 times, and I kept rejecting because I told myself one thing I'm not gonna do is eat in this house. And then finally, around 5 was when she thought, okay, I guess now it's time for me to take this child home. And then we drove to town, and her place is so far from town. Hey, so, and yes, the thing that I forgot to mention, we were gonna finish school around 3, so I was expected at home around 4 at least. And now we left the house at 5, and then we went to town, and we got in town I think around 6. So now I can start imagining people at home are already worried. This is my second day at school. I'm late and stuff like that. People are already worried at this point. So I was also worried because in Zen, they might not understand that you actually went through that. They might think that maybe you were doing something weird and stuff like that. So I was really worried that I would get in trouble today. And then that woman finally decided, okay, now it's time to take this child home. And then she goes to town. We went to town, she drove to town and stuff like that. And then the biggest mistake that she did, if she really had bad intentions for me, the thing that saved me was the thing that she did next. She stood, because in Zim, when you have your own private car, you can literally carry anyone you want and they'll give you money. Apparently, that's what they do. So she carried these 2 officers, and they asked, are you going to Marondera? To Marondera. I was like, what? Is this car going to Marondera? She was like, yes, Marondera. I was like, what? What are we going to do? Marondera is so far from Marimba. Like, it's very far. It's like a 2-hour drive or something like that. What are we going to do to Marondera? You said you were going to drop me, like, home and stuff like that. And then I was like, you know what? I think it's fine. You can leave me here in town. I can find a taxi to go to Marimba. And then she was like, no, I think we should first go to Marondera. Police officers are inside. They can hear this conversation we're having. The police officers are in the car. They can hear this conversation we're having and stuff like that. So they also concerned because I mentioned that my dad is going to be worried, because she was like, no, it's fine. I'll take you home once I come from once we come from around, I have to go do something urgently. I'm scared that if I first go drop you off, I might be late for what I have to do. And there are police officers in this car. They can hear this conversation. And then I kept insisting, I kept insisting. I was like, no, thank you so much. Thank you. You saved me. But now it's time I go home. And from town here, I can get a taxi, to go home. And then I literally asked her, could you please at least just show me where I can get taxis for Marimba, because like it's my second day, guys. It's dark, and everything that I knew had already left my mind. And then she was like, no, I don't have time for that. It's like, no, it's fine. At least, okay, it's fine. You don't have to worry. I'll ask someone. There are a lot of vendors in Zimbabwe outside. You can literally ask anyone for help if you need to. And then she was like, she kept insisting. She was like, no, we're just gonna go, and then I'm gonna come drop you one time. And this is what the police officers then asked, ma'am, is this your child? And then she said, no, this is not my child. And then she started explaining what happened, the whole situation, that, hey, I found this child on the road. Some parents are very reckless, da 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 da. And the police officer was like, oh, okay. So now what are you gonna do? And then she was like, I'm gonna go to Marondera, and then I'm gonna come back and drop her. And then the police officers were like, but her parents, I think they'll be worried, because now it's around 6. So when you come back from Marondera, it will be around 8. And to go to Marimba, maybe half 8 or 9, who knows, it's gonna be late. And you wanna go do something there, you might take time whilst you're doing whatever you wanna do there. And this woman kept insisting. Now she was getting mad because people keep talking about this. She doesn't want to hear this. She wants to go with Karen to Marondera. That's what's in her mind. She wants to go with Karen to Marondera. I don't really think that it was because she really had to go do something or she cared about my safety, but I feel like there was something about Marondera, because the way she kept insisting that it's fine, I'll go drop her once I'm back, was extremely crazy, because fuel is expensive in Zim. There is no way. Yes, you're nice, we get it, but there is no way you want to do cross countries. I mean, come on. The police officer was like, ma'am, now we're not asking you, we are telling you, could you please let this child go? And then the police officers kept insisting that, ma'am, could you please drop this girl before you go to Marondera, and if you don't want, then we have to take her with us. And then she was very upset, but then they ended up using a little force, and then they took me with them, and I was so relieved. But they gave me such a lecture. Hey, that day I was in so much trouble. They gave me a big lecture. They were like, you will never ever in your life get in a stranger's car or go to a stranger's house, no matter the circumstances. You hear? And I heard for real, because that stranger was very creepy. I strongly believe that there is something she wanted to go do with me to Marondera, something that was not nice, something unholy, something that I would not really love. Till this day, I believe so. I don't believe that lady's intentions were genuine. And then these police officers take me to the bus stop. I've never used buses. I've only used taxis. So them taking me to a bus stop was, they say that it was gonna leave me a bit closer to my house since it was late and I could just walk home. And then I was like, okay. I literally told these police officers, guys, I live at Marimba. It's where I stay. And then this is what they did. They went to drop me off at a Campo Zuma bus station, and I didn't know. So all I did was stand there and get in the bus, wait for it to be full, and then it took me to Campo Zuma. Like, as soon as the bus started going, I noticed that this is not the road to my house. This is not the road to my place. And at that point, I started crying. At that point, I was not the strong girl anymore. I started crying because what is going on? It's so late. I'm so worried. I don't even know what's going to happen to me when I get home. Will I be believed? I was so stressed, guys. And then there was a woman sitting next to me, and then she was like, why are you crying? And then I told her my story. I told her about everything that had happened that day. And then she was like, it's fine, don't cry, I'll help you out. I didn't want to hear that word help anymore at this point. I was like, how are you going to help me? I didn't want to accept any help. Fortunately, that woman was genuine. And then when we arrived at Campo Zuma, she took me to the driver, and she left me in the driver's hands. She was like, please, when you go back to town, could you please get this child at a Marimba bus and pay for her, because at this point she's out of money. Just please let her get home, because it's so late. Fortunately, that man cooperated. He was not a hard human being. When we went back to town, he accompanied me, and then he showed me the bus to Marimba. At this point, I was so glad. I was so happy that I was safe and everything was fine. And then it got like I had to also wait for that bus to like get full and then take me home. And at this point I was like, as long as if I get home, everything else it's fine, as long as if I'm safe, as long as if I get home. But it was late now. I think at that time it was like around 9:30 or something. It was so late, and I was so scared that, hey, when I get home, I don't know, people are probably worried about me and stuff like that. And luckily when I got to the bus station, I was lucky that I found my dad waiting for me there. Guys, he was worried sick about me, and then I told him everything that happened. And ever since that day, I never used public transport to go to school ever again. My dad would drop me to school and pick me up from school till I got a driver, like a personal driver who would take me to school and bring me back home at the gate. Because at that point I myself didn't even want to use public transport anymore. I was so traumatized. It was such a bad experience, and I don't wish anyone to have that experience ever. And I always had a phone now. It was not a touch screen phone. It was those small button phones, but at least I had something to communicate if anything went wrong. So the message that I have for you parents out there is that make sure your children are safe. This world is not safe, and they might not be as lucky as I was and escape that. Deep down I believe that woman's intentions were not pure. So let's keep our children safe. If you don't want to give them phones, to be just give them something that they can communicate with. If anything happens, they can have some sort of communication with you, because it's so important. Children are safe at all times, because you wouldn't want anything bad to happen to them. So yeah, that's what I have to say. How do you guys like my makeup? Rate it out of 10, please. Rate it in the comment section out of 10. And if you guys love story time, let me know. I have so many stories to tell. I'll do more of these. If you guys like them, please just write in the comments that we love them, so that I can know, and I'll tell you guys more stories that has happened to me in my childhood and my teenhood and all those things. Thank you guys for watching. You've reached the end of this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share, and let me know if you want more story times, so we can give you more story times.